One of the main reasons your audience feels so disconnected right now, your views are down, your engagement's down, you feel like you're just speaking into a void, is most likely because they feel like you are speaking at them instead of to them. In order to do this, you really have to understand how to speak through the camera lens. It sounds so easy, and in fact, both those things sound the same, right? You're like, what's the difference between speaking at someone and to someone? After coaching hundreds of creators online, I have found that this is one of the #1 things they're lacking in their content. And no matter what your age is, no matter how much money you're making, this is something you can easily fix, but you do have to take the time to learn these skills. So we're gonna just do this at rapid speed. In today's video, I wanna go over the 5 mistakes that people are making when it comes to speaking to the camera. And this is coming from someone who's worked in media and on TV for over 15 years. We're also gonna go over my 5-step framework that you can start applying right away in order to really break through the lens and start speaking through the lens to connect more to your audience, to really build up the legacy channel that you've always been dreaming of. And I'm gonna give you the exact things to do to continue to practice this, because you can continue to get better every single day doing this, and you're going to see everything skyrocket once you make this transformation. It's truly freeing, not only for your audience, but for yourself, because you feel like you cracked the code. So if you're new, I'm Ashley Bornanson with Beekeeper Media. We help creators build buzzworthy brands here on YouTube without the burnout. If that's you, go ahead, give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you find this video useful. So the biggest mistake I see creators make when it comes to really engaging with their audience on camera, and this is what really trips them up, is that they feel like they need to perform instead of share. So performing, what does that look like? Oh, I need to put on a show. So what are you thinking in your head? What do I look like? What do I sound like? Are my clothes okay? Are they going to like what I'm saying versus what am I sharing? Instead, it's transferring the focus from you to the value of the content. And with the creator economy emerging like it is and transforming, especially this year, it's going to be even more important that you focus on the value of your content versus people liking you on camera. I promise you, your voice and everything is going to start to shift completely when you start focusing on the value, because you start to realize all those other things are so trivial. As long as you are putting yourself together, as long as you really value what you're saying and you feel like what you are sharing will help at least one person on camera, and focus more on sharing that value and serving your audience versus having to perform, you completely look at the lens in a different way. The second mistake is that creators feel really insecure when they're filming. So this could come from a variety of different things. It could be that you are filming in your home and your husband's in the other room, or your kids are in the other room and you're really nervous about what people think of you, or you're filming outside and there are runners everywhere, there are people watching you, so you're getting more and more insecure. And that in and of itself is not setting you up for success versus really setting yourself up for success. Where are you going to feel most confident? Is it in your office? Is it in a nice studio that you've built in your home? Is it in your laundry room? Is it at a park? Like, really set yourself up for success so you can again focus on #1, which is focus on delivering the value. So I worked in the TV business for over 15 years, and this was a big thing that we would really have to focus on when we were out in public, because there are so many distractions everywhere. You're at the state fair and there are people screaming at you, laughing, waving behind the scenes. But what you have to do as the reporter, as the deliverer of the message, to come on camera and really focus on your story, because if you don't, you're gonna get distracted. And when you're distracted, you're insecure about what you look like, and you're trying to sound impressive, and you are trying to be something you're not, and it's really creating a disconnect between you and your audience. Which leads to mistake #3, feeling like you have to be a professional. Now, there has been a massive shift in media, in the news, in content, honestly, probably since social media started taking off in probably around 2008, 2012, but even more so these days, because you used to come on and turn on the news and it would be someone being so professional on TV and delivering like this. And what does that create in 2026? It creates a disconnect between the viewer and the communicator. A lot of people feel like they need to be sounding professional. They dress up in a blazer and a suit. They put on their professional speaking voice. And what does that do? It makes you look really robotic. It makes you look really stiff. And it, again, creates this disconnect. Versus nowadays, people just want people to look, feel and sound real on camera. And I remember one of my executive producers telling me, she's like, Ashley, why do you keep changing your voice? And a news director back in the day told me that I had too much of a cartoony voice. Now, fun fact, it's because I literally voice cartoons on TV, but that really made me look and sound really stiff. It made me not a good reporter because I was focused so much on sounding professional and looking professional on air that it created a disconnect, and it actually made me a worse reporter. When you instead stop telling yourself that you have to be so professional, go back to that first mistake of, hey, I just need to come on here, really focus on sharing my message and my story, you will be 10x better, and you're gonna connect way more with your audience. Mistake is coming up more and more these days with the massive rise of AI, and that is sounding way too robotic, way too AI. The minute someone feels like your script is sounding like a version of ChatGPT, there is something inside of us that just clicks away. So you can have ChatGPT help you with a rundown of your script or give you bullet points or outlines, but do not have AI write your script word for word, because there will be a disconnect between you and your audience. The reason that people are clicking on your specific videos versus anyone else in your niche is probably a topic that they thought was engaging, but once viewers continue to return to your channel, they want you. So share your experience, share your words, share your colloquial. Do not focus on sounding so perfect and taking out your specific stories and your specific examples, because it is going to do the opposite. It is going to kill your engagement and kill your connection between you and your viewer. You will beat the robots and AI this year by doubling down on the things that make you more human. This mistake is that you feel like you need to be perfect. You need to be so polished. You take out all your ums, you take out all your stumbles, like I didn't even mean that. You do your takes 5, 10 times, and then what happens? You lose your energy, you aren't as engaging on camera, your off-the-cuff stories that really help frame the concept that you're trying to share, you no longer have because you feel like, oh, that's just fluff I need to cut out. It's all those things that are making you more human, that are actually building more trust between you and your audience. If you found this video helpful so far, do me a favor and give this video a like. It tells YouTube that you like my content and helps it get it out to more people who also need to learn these skills to really transform on video. So camera confidence framework, step 1. Act like you're speaking to one person on the other side of that camera. You're no longer speaking to a lens, you're no longer speaking to an audience, you're speaking to one person. Then instead of starting straight with your hook, you're gonna have a lead up line. And it's gonna be something like, hey Sarah, I know you asked me about this, about on-camera confidence. Interesting that you asked that, because this is actually the #1 thing that most creators miss. You see how having that lead up line helps you get into it. It's like swinging up to the plate. It's like, you know, when the batters are getting their bats ready to swing, well, they gotta warm up their arms first before they give that swing, or else their arm isn't ready. That will help you. And that's also something that you can cut out later in the video. This then gets you into conversation mode instead of presentation mode, and really helps you come out of the gate strong. And coming out of the gate the strongest you can on YouTube is one of the most important things, especially in your first 30 seconds. Second, focus on transformation instead of performance. What does your viewer need to know from this video, and what are they gonna get out of this video after watching it? Third, and this hits home for me, use your real voice. You don't have to be the professional speaker on the news. Just act like you're speaking to your friends, your family, your coworkers, and share with them the information using your voice. If people don't like your voice, I used to get made fun of so much for my voice, and I took that to the bank because I then voiced cartoons on Netflix and beyond. I had a voice studio that I ran for 4 years. You can make so much money off the things that people are making fun of you for, and if it is your voice, then let those people go. They can get their information elsewhere. There are going to be people that like your voice. There are going to be people that like your style of communication that stay on your videos. You cannot change. If you try to change for everyone, you please no one. Third, don't script your videos word for word, and definitely don't have a robot script your videos word for word. Leave room for humanity. This will range depending on how comfortable you feel. You might be someone who scripts almost everything word for word, but I promise you, you are actually going to become more comfortable when you leave room for your humanity, and you're going to become more comfortable with your own nuance and your own personality and your own storytelling and what you bring to the camera, and that's going to be the thing that people talk about the most. And my final tip is something that we've actually been doing here in this video, and that is stack emotion with your video. So if you are someone who just feels so stuffy when you are in a studio, when you're in your office, when you're sitting in a chair and you're like, I just get so in my head, I literally sweat so much, I get so nervous being on camera, stack it with emotion. One of the easiest motions is what we're doing right now. and that is a walk and talk. You can walk and talk, you can make a recipe. This is what a lot of people, especially in short form content, do, and it does really well because it also helps the audience focus on other things while you're speaking. So it helps give them like two different things to keep up their engagement, but it also takes out nerves for you because you have too many things that you're focused on now, and now you can really just focus on the content and delivering the transformation to your viewer instead of what do I look like on camera, how do I sound? So here's how to actually practice this. One, film when you have the most confidence. For me, that's like right away in the morning. I actually have my scripts or my rundowns the night before, so then I wake up knowing, okay, we gotta get out these videos. Second, give yourself a deadline on shooting. You have up until tonight to shoot these videos. Okay, by Wednesday, I need to have 3 videos recorded. Third, honestly, the more you have that you have to like complete, I've noticed the more it kind of helps you just bang out and get it done. So I personally recommend batch shooting your content. I have at least 2 video ideas ready to go. Even if I only get through one, I set myself up for success for the second one. So then it doesn't feel like a whole lug of like, oh, just doing one video at a time and having to gain that confidence over and over again. You know, you work on one dance, then you can easily flow into your next dance. That's how I view filming YouTube videos. I'm like, I'm already revved up for this video. I might as well knock out my second video, and batch shooting your content really helps with that. Lastly, you can go far alone, but further together. So if you want an outside perspective, especially someone like me who's been working in media for over 15 years, I can actually audit your last videos. We can work together on Zoom. Go ahead and book a coaching call with me below. We also have our Creator Hive group coaching program. If you want ongoing support, we could talk about all of that. Just go ahead and check out the links below. Now, there are 15 brutal truths to YouTube that no one talks about, but I actually think you are going to find so freeing. So I want you to watch this video next. Bye for now. I'll see you in the next one.